Welcome to my long overdue unboxing of the Phantom 410 crafted mid-tower chassis from NZXT. This is basically like the Phantom, but more smaller. And we're gonna go ahead and open this bad boy up and take a look at it. If you guys remember my original video, you probably already know that I am a big fan of the NZXT Phantom. I think it's a fantastic case. I think it is by far, out of all of their cases so far, at the time of release, I thought it was by far their best case. Although I would say that what is that one over there? Because I really like this one. This is the Tempest. The Tempest 410, or 4 something. The Tempest 4 whatever it is also a phenomenal case. But because I've loved the Phantom original so much, I am very, very excited to take a look at the slightly smaller, more compact version of it. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. It comes in a fairly thick, that's actually quite a thick foam. Although this is a hard foam, and I do prefer softer foams because they are more resilient to multiple impacts, more resistant to multiple impacts, more resilient against multiple impacts, but not resilient to. And just a second, someone's at the door. Sorry guys, that was the Crazy Russian bringing back one of my crazy video cards that he borrowed. So here we find a very, very much small, actually I'm very surprised at how much smaller this is than the original Phantom. This is definitely a mid-tower case, whereas the Phantom was more of a full-tower case. And I have to say that without looking closer at it, which I have not done yet, I have to wonder if there's enough space in here for the kind of epically awesome gaming hardware that I would want to put inside a case that looks as slick as this one does. So let's go ahead and remove all these plastic bits, and let's have a look at the outside first before we really get any further. So the front looks pretty much very similar to the original Phantom. I'm going to have to figure out how this opens because I'm not really sure. You guys, oh, there we go. Yeah. So it's a clicky device. Okay, you just press on there. So we've got 3 5¼ inch bays. Okay, front ventilation looks really good. We've got a 120mm fan that not only has full access to this grill in front of it, but also has unrestricted airflow from the bottom as well. So you're not going to have to worry about whether that fan is going to be starved. And there's also no grill directly in front of it, so that is going to make it operate quieter, as well as making it capable of pushing more airflow, although it is restricted on the other side of it, so once we open it up, we'll see how much overall restriction there is. Also looking at the bottom, you can see it's lifted quite a fair bit off of the table or whatever surface that it's sitting on. This is an awesome design decision because it means that this fan hole right here, as well as the fan for the power supply, are not going to be starved for air because they'll have air coming in from both sides here in order to cool whatever components are on the other side. So rubber feet here, keep it from slipping around, and let's go ahead and make our way up the top. So here's our power LED as well as our hard drive LED, power switch and reset switch are right here. We've got our headphones and microphone jacks, 2 USB 2, 2 USB 3, and then a built-in fan controller just like the original Phantom. 1, 2, 3 settings. And on the top we find tons of ventilation space. Those look like 140mm fans. Yep, that's a 140mm fan and another 140mm fan slot, although this case does not look to be capable of oh, no, it is. Okay, well, we'll get to that after then. We have a side window, which right now has plastic on the other side of it, so it's not as transparent as it will be, as well as side ventilation, so you can put either a 120 or a 140mm fan right here. I want to take a moment for you guys to have a look at how closely they've managed to match the color. Actually, up here is probably a better example. How closely they've matched the color and finish between the painted surfaces and the plastic surfaces. This is very difficult to do during the manufacturing process, and they've done a fantastic job with this one as well as with the original Phantom. On the back we've got a 120mm cooling fan, water cooling grommets, although most people won't use those, a little bit more ventilation, a bottom mounted power supply, 7 slots, and that pretty much does it. So let's use the thumb screws here to open this guy up, and I'm gonna need my screwdriver. Alright, so let's get these side panels off. overall construction feels pretty good. That's encouraging. I mean, you can usually tell a little something about the metal of a case. Get it? Metal? Ha 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 ha. By taking a close look at the side panels. Oh man, I'm funny. Okay, so there's been a few screws rolling around inside this case while we've been doing this unboxing, so I'm gonna try and figure out where these came from, although, oh, I think I know where they're from. Wow, I think they managed to come out of here. Fascinating. So those are your 5 1/4 inch drive mounting screws. Yeah, you can tell because they use the smaller threading. So you use the toolless mechanism, and then if you're actually planning to ship the system anywhere, so here's your toolless, and however it works. Hold on. I think it comes up like, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, you just lift it up and then you slide the drive in and then it pops into place, and then you press on here. Ah, there we go. Press on there to lift up the clips on this side. So you just put your additional screw in here in order to secure the drive in the event that it's gonna, you know, be banged around during shipping or whatever else. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is see if I can figure out how to remove the top. Okay, you know what, we'll do that later. We've also got some included accessories. We've got an included zip tie here. We have 6 3 1/2 inch bay devices, and they're loaded from the back. Fascinating. Although this top piece can come out entirely if you take out these screws. Wow, there's actually a lot of features here, so we're going to have to just take it slow, go one by one, and I'm going to try not to get distracted here, guys. And let's get the last of those screws out. There we go. So, 3 1/2 inch bays, there we go. You can see they are completely toolless. You just flex them open like that, put the drive in, and slide the whole cage back into the case. They're also compatible with 2 1/2 inch drives using these mounting holes here. I definitely prefer this system to other ones that just use 2 pieces on either side and don't have compatibility for 2 1/2 inch devices. On this side you can see the other screw holes for the 5 1/4 inch bays, as well as these pressure mounts, which add some resistance when you're inserting the drive so that you can easily use the toolless mounting option. Here we have our bottom 3 1/2 inch drive cages, and I'm going to flip it back around to show you guys why those are important, because this top piece comes out entirely in order to accommodate graphics cards that are almost the entire length of this chassis. So that is a very, very cool feature. You can also, remember I talked about how restrictive the airflow was at the front of the case for that front fan, so we're going to go ahead and remove the front bezel just so that you guys can have a closer look at what I was talking about there. Here we go. Come on. There we go. 2 and 3. Front bezel comes off. So you guys can see what I'm talking about here, because these cages are a little on the restrictive side. However, you can install an additional 120mm fan, which is going to give you some more airflow there. You are going to be able to push some air through them, and then in order to get more static pressure going on, you can also install an additional fan, whether you want it to be a 120mm or a 140mm on this side, to give you some additional flow towards your graphics card or cards, assuming that you have the space. So most graphics cards, I mean, look, this is a performance card. This is a 6970, or 6950 rather. Most graphics cards, once I install that, is going to have just enough room for that fan to go on the inside and be installed. However, if you're putting something crazy like a 6990 in there, then you're going to run into trouble potentially. Okay, so this is just the piece that allows us to pull that out. Here we have our CPU cutout. Here we have our top-mounted 140mm fan. This can be replaced with either dual 140mm or dual 120mm, and if you wanted to mount a radiator, I wonder if you could get away with it. It looks like you could. So check this out. So if we remove... So because I don't have a dual 120mm rad handy, I'm going to use a quad in order to provide a simulation of how this will work. So you can see all these different mounting holes they have here. That's so that you can accommodate either the dual 140s, which are these outside ones, or dual 120s with a radiator. So you see this cutout right here? That is so that the radiator sits with the barb side down right here. Lines up perfectly. I can tell from here that it's just fine. And then all you do is you put your case top back on, and the radiator sits down there. The fans continue to go where they already did. So that's on the inside of the case. And now you are cooling your radiator. You have a liquid-cooled computer, and they haven't wasted any space in this case overall, because like I said, due to the small size of it, I wasn't sure how much hardware we were going to be able to put in here, but it looks like the answer is a whole lot, because you can see they've made it just a little bit bulkier in the back, so you have that space, that ghetto booty, so to speak, bulkier in the back, for the dual 120mm radiator. And if you have a 240mm radiator, I definitely envy you. So let's go ahead and take a look at the motherboard tray. We've got our cable management grommets right here, here, and here. We've also got a cutout right here for the 8-pin connector. I wouldn't mind seeing that widened a little bit, although hey, there's one here as well. Okay, there you go. So you'll be able to reach whether the 8-pin connector is more in the middle of the board or more at the edge. Good thinking, NZXT. Standard ATX, 7 expansion slots. I think we're getting pretty darn close to the end of this, although it's got a lot of different features, hey guys? Alright, what do we got here? Okay, we got power for the built-in fan speed controller. We've got 4 leads for the built-in fan speed controller, very nice. We've got our front panel connectors, our front USB connector, our front USB 2, and finally our front HD audio. I think that covers it. This is an awesome little chassis. I'm going to give it my gold star of approval, and thank you for checking out my unboxing of the NZXT Phantom 410. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos.